once upon a time, there was a man who spoke of unity, of sovereignty, of love, of compassion and peace. And they nailed his ass to a cross because he was a threat to the powers that be. And I wrote, they don't have enough crosses and they don't have enough nails for the amount of people that are awake at the moment. And action.
We used to be. All right. Where are you? You're in California?
I'm here. Where are you?
I'm in Valle de Bravo, Mexico, which is 2.5 hours west of Mexico City.
Yeah, I'm just outside of Los Angeles in Topanga Canyon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what happens is, I know daylight savings time went long ago. I get it's during half of the year, it's 2 hours difference to the West Coast, and then during half the year, it's 1 hour difference, and I get confused sometimes. So I apologize for being late, but I like that you were mad at me.
I was.
Well, no, you were. Were you mad? Were you mad? Maybe I'm making a presumption.
You see that? Look, there you go. You're making an assumption that if it was you, you would be slightly mad. The old me wanted to get mad, but I didn't allow him to take over. It's like, no, this is everything. This is it. What we're going to talk about. But you're my mirror, showing me to me. Firstly, it's not a Zoom call. You give me some link to some app, and I click on it. It says join the app. I don't want another app, so I wrote to you, and then I deleted it. And now I had to join the app, and then I had to do all of this stuff, which is okay. I'm not very technically minded, and I do everything that, I have to get on. I couldn't get it on the phone, so then I got it on the computer, and then I got to the computer, I had to get Chrome. Oh, not Firefox. And all of this is testing me because I'm not technologically minded. And there I am sitting, waiting for you. For you. I said, well, look, I did all of that. And I was very calm about it. And now he's not. I'm like, okay. I took the day off, and thank God, here we go. And then you finally got here, and here we are. So it's not a point of being mad. It's being a point of, okay, it's okay.
I'm surprised that you haven't got a Riverside link before. Do people not request you to come on their podcast?
They have done, and I've actually said, can't we just send a link like everybody else does, a Zoom link? I don't want to join an app. That's what I usually do.
Right.
So today, okay, I'll see what this is about. And then I went through the process that I wasn't prepared to go through. See, I've moved the step forward now, and now I have the app. So I won't need to tell people, just send me a Zoom link. Yeah,
it's not too bad. You shouldn't have to have the app when you're on your computer. You should just click
It was on the phone. I started
on the phone. Yeah, you do need the app.
The phone has a better camera, I thought. So in the end, I clicked on the link, and then it said I need Chrome. So I usually work on Firefox. So I had to cut and paste and then open Chrome. So it's okay.
You know what's interesting about you, just even in this moment, like the shot that you set up is kind of cinematic. And I know you used to be an actor, and I look at your Instagram page. And you shoot it from the side, which you have a style. It's a creative totally style.
I'm honest to God, people have said things like this. My God, what do you shoot? The way you shoot, I just hold the camera and shoot.
It's just that simple.
It's that simple. I put it on. Yeah, I bought a new phone. I don't know when. It's most probably already it's already not up to date. And on it, it's got, what is it called? Cinematic. So instead of normal video, it's cinematic. So it just fades out the background and gives it a bit more clarity. And then I mess around with some of after it's filmed with, tone or sharpness. But
you shoot it horizontal, which most people don't do. And it's kind of from the side, like you're not talking directly to the camera. And also you're an artist. You're a writer and an artist. So you used to be an actor. How do you think of yourself right now? Are you an artist? You don't want to categorize.
Me and labels, and I would say the label is generic for everyone is I'm a creator.
Right.
And I'm creating my life, and in that life, I am a creator in creation, creating, and if I want to be labeled, yeah, I'm an artist, I paint, I am a writer, I write scripts, I write books, I write for children, I write my books on consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I also work on my garden and creating my garden. Everything is a creativity to me. So yeah, artist, writer. I was an actor. I consider myself to be a writer now, but I'm a creator.
You're in Topanga Canyon, and I guess you were an actor in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I came to Los Angeles. I did 4 years in England, and then I knew straight away. I went to Hollywood in 2001, and I left Hollywood in 2017. But it was a good ride. I had a really good ride in Hollywood. I did major TV, major movies. One of the very rare who was for 15 years earning and living off of my acting alone, and I didn't have to do anything else. And that was great. It was a really good journey, a really good ride. I have unbelievably great stories of the journeys that I've had and the people that I work with. But you know, it ran its course for me personally where I was. I also got exceedingly typecast, and I wasn't happy doing that.
How did you get typecast?
The bad guy.
Really?
Bad guy with an English accent who did Russian accents and South African accents. I did a lot of, and so I got stuck. I got stuck, and
Uh,
I would ask my management. I would like to play something with heart and not contribute violence to the world. I was killing and dying all the time, and it was fun. But as I went on a whatever journey you want to call it, conscious journey, spiritual journey, I decided that that was all the stuff in me that I wanted to get rid of. And as
mm,
you know, if you are rehearsing every single day and you're going on auditions every day and you're playing bad guys every single day, you're getting into a disturbed mind every single day, and you're bringing up anger and you're bringing up hate and you're bringing up everything that you can use. And I didn't want to do this anymore. So when I moved out of the city to Topanga, I thought I'd give it a break.
I like that. Well, we have similar stories because I was in Toronto for years, not well, a number of years, and then I came out to LA in '99,
Okay.
and then about 2017, 18 was when I gave it up. So, and similar thing, I had a good run where I was able to make a living, and then I stopped enjoying it. And then, well, for me, what it was is I found this work, core energetics, a somatic psychotherapy, and it just took over my life. I was just fascinated. I started working with this woman, Ann Bradney, and she opened up a school, and I went to her training. It was a 4-year program, and I was
Right.
still acting, but something was
You have
shifting for me
an
internally.
incredibly, sorry for interrupting, incredibly similar story. I also didn't know I was going to give up acting, but I found a college for spiritual psychology. I'd already started studying and working, but once I joined that, that was it.
Yeah, it took over.
Yeah.
Interesting. Was the transition away difficult? Because for me, it's my identity was wrapped up in being an actor. My income was wrapped up in being an actor. I was like, what does my life look like on the other side of this? What am I going to do? How am I going to make money?
Yeah, all of those come up, and the identity, and I was doing well and I was getting recognized. So there's a lot of external validation coming in, and the external validation of money coming in. So yes, there was a that was oh, okay. And so now the focus was on what value have I got left within myself once that's taken away. And that was a big hole to sit in. And I was living with someone at the time, so I believe that was a great band aid for that.
Mm,
When that person left me, when some all family members started dying off, and I started realizing that I am myself here, myself. We realize how much external validation is a part of and an indoctrination of and a programming of our lives, that it literally we focus on the cookie, the gold star, the grades, the boyfriend, girlfriend, the paycheck. Everything is externalized, and we've not spent an iota of our lives focusing on our own worth.
yeah. Were you always oriented in that way? When did you start thinking about spirituality and consciousness? And
I read Conversations with God well, I was shooting a movie that was in 2003, and I'd read some other books before that. So that was conversation, and then I think 2003, four. Then I read Eckhart Tolle just as he was blowing up, and that was it.
right.
Eckhart Tolle made me go, "Oh, that's what my ego is, right?" And that was an intriguing journey, which started it. Plus, one of the most incredible inception points was I got a dog around. Yeah, no, it's very interesting. I got a dog and I let him off leash in a park which had coyotes and he was a puppy. And when I finally got hold of him, I grabbed him and I screamed at him and terrified him. And as I looked at him, I realized that's me and I'm my mother.
Wow.
And I then looked up and I found a sentence called negative reinforcement and realized that I had my mother's anger and impatience stuck in me. And that was also, I had to learn how to retrain myself and to be gentle with him instead of become my mother. So that was a catalyst as well for the journey to understand that there was a lot of things in me I didn't want to have in me.
How did you retrain yourself?
Every time the dog didn't listen to me, every time the dog decided to be a dog, he's him, was to go up, breathe, realize that when the anger, when the frustration, when the impatience came up, to direct it at him was to just breathe and go up to him very gently, put the leash on him and
Mm-hmm.
stroke him and be gentle instead of shout. And that was a process of retraining with the dog. But I didn't know a lot of the dynamics of what I know now and how to deal with things. But that was very, very special because he was my baby. He was my dog. I did not want him to grow up frightened of.
Right. Yeah. I had, I mean, I had two dogs as well. And yeah, they teach you because I had the same experience. I would lose my shit on the dogs and then realize like, what is this? What feelings are coming up inside me that are taking me out of control that I feel like I need to scream at these dogs. So you started to realize that you, I guess, had feelings, emotions inside you that you didn't have control over or consciousness around, or you were projecting them out onto other people or other things. And you like, I guess the process was awareness. I mean, this is the thing that I guess one of the reasons why I want to talk to you, because you're somebody who's very, as I, observe you on Instagram and the way that you talk, that you're very, you've gone through the process. Like you have a deep understanding of these principles and you're on the other side of it. And now I guess you're teaching it in some way and helping people understand it. What have you learned about that process, like the awakening process, because it's both, I guess, or the way I think about it, and you could tell me, how you think about it differently or where you think I might be wrong. It's both psychological and spiritual. So there's a kind of psychology that we develop in response to our childhood. But it also that kind of separation, that denial of self, the emotions that take over us also separate us from spirit, like keep us out of presence, keep us from being in the here and the now. And so and this is the thing that I've come to, because the work that I did, there was a spiritual quality to it, but it was, I guess, because of the time, because people didn't like to talk about God, it was diminished. We're in LA and it's, everybody wants to think of things as secular, but it wasn't until later that I realized, man, you can't do this work without bringing in God, like without bringing in spirit. Like you have to have that element to it, because that's what we're longing for, to come back to ourselves, come back to source, come back to connection. Does that Does that resonate? Does that make sense to you? What I'm saying?
I understand everything you're saying, and I agree with the word spirit and the word God and the word source, and it's a little bit too big because there are words, and really what I've narrowed it down to is what do we all want, and everybody wants peace.
Hmm.
What does a Zen monk have? What did Jesus have? What did Buddha have? Peace, love, compassion, understanding. So I say, all right, let's not use the word spirituality and God. Let's say I'm just an evolutionist and I'm evolving consciously back to peace. I'm coming to my truth, which is the essence of all of us. And we're all born in truth. Each baby is not conditioned, not programmed, not indoctrinated, has no wounds, no trauma, no samskara, but we're going to build our karma. And therefore, again, not being religious, but quoting the man they called the Christ, only the children will enter the kingdom. Ah, all right. So the kingdom is within, and my kingdom is now shrouded and covered by crap from my upbringing and my thoughts and my perceptions and my beliefs. So the journey is simply, in layman's terms, so everybody can understand, I'm clearing the lenses of my perceptions. I'm evolving consciously to get to a clearer consciousness where there's peace and there's no disturb, there's no upsets, and there's everything else is just feelings that I'm working on. Oh, okay. Okay.
And you wrote a book
Yeah.
that outlines your method. Is that accurate?
Well, yeah, it's right here. The map is the map, the navigation and translation to life and the human experience.
Yeah.
And this was okay. After all the work of going to spiritual psychology and having spiritual psychologists and spiritual psychologists and doing these courses and plant medicine, I spent a lot of money and a lot of time. And every time was like, not enough. It's not enough. This
Mm.
isn't enough. That hasn't got that. And it wasn't enough. And a failure of a great, relationship failing and swearing that I would become the man they wanted me to be and not understanding and wanting to understand and learning inner child work and wanting to know why was I doing this inner child work and learning about the effects of the patriarchy and of the nuclear family. Ah, okay. Now I know why I got here. Literally understanding the dynamics of the patriarchy on a very rudimentary scale, understanding the effects of a nuclear family on us, and then understanding the effects of the media on us on the reward system on all. So this is how we got to be how we are, how we got to be smothered and covered. Now understanding that, now we can undo the done. We can resolve all the unresolved issues. So I don't use the word trauma. I don't use the I say inside me is a bag. In this book, this is really, I try to make it as easy as possible without using woo woo and spirituality.
Hmm.
So I say inside the book, I say inside me there's a bag of unloved, unsafe, not good enoughness.
Mm.
That's unworthy, unloved,
Yeah.
unsafe. That's everybody in a nutshell. Everything comes under that umbrella of whatever you want to say, abandonment. And so in this, it then gives you understandings of how to do inner child work, how to relate with people on a conscious level, to identify things coming up as yours instead of projecting and blaming it onto people. So
Hmm.
it shows its explanation that everything is a mirror, that everything inside me is there to be worked on, and life is going to mirror this back to me. We say they triggered me. No, they mirror back to you. The ammunition is your stuff from childhood. And so the book is showing you that it's a shift in a perspective and a perception of how to operate the human experience. And as again, a biblical terms, once was blind, now I can see. It's unbelievable for thousands of years that we've been operating in literally inside out and back to front.
Were you surprised at how much you like? I mean, you've kind of blown up on Instagram. You've had some huge videos.
Non-stop. It's non-stop. The figures are keep growing and growing, and it's okay because that's just a figure. I'm doing what I've been doing for 15 years on Instagram. I share my journey. That's it. Oh,
but something's resonating for people because I heard
yes,
about you
that's
through a client, and he was like, there was something about the way that you said it. Like, he explained to me something that you said, which, I'd said a version of the same thing to him many times, but there was a way that you articulated that he was really able to hear it, and he was impacted by it. And so that's when I looked you up.
yeah. The word resonating come. I do these sessions every day, and everybody gets on. And first thing I said, "Why do you want to speak to me?" It's a joke when anyone gets on a session. It's a one-off session. It's very specific, and they say you resonated with where I was in life. You resonate. Everybody says this to me. Okay, I'm supposed to be doing this. I didn't know this was going to be happening. A year ago today, I wasn't doing sessions. A year ago today, my book wasn't doing incredibly well. A year ago today, I'm on near enough 300,000 followers and going up 50,000. I was on 3,000 followers. In the last year, my life has just exploded because I did some serious work for 4 or 5 years. I did the map. I put the map into experiment. I was at a point where my wages from my businesses in London were down 80%. I had no exterior validation, parents gone, one dog gone. Everything was me and one or two family members, and nothing coming in. And I have a lovely house to get the bills, and my savings were going. And I went into this no scarcity, no worry, no not enoughness, dealing with everything. Everything coming at me, I dealt with it. I dealt with it. I sat in it and I said to a friend, something really incredible is about to happen. I don't know what it is, but I feel fucking amazing and I have no reason to. Nothing's happening. I've got bills coming in and my money's being. And then I posted one post, I don't know how many. Last time I looked, it was at about 20 million. And then everything just started going up. And it's just okay. I still feel the same as I did a year ago. It doesn't make
Sure.
any difference. But my book is selling brilliantly. I'm working on another one. The sessions are amazing. They're booked out. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And everybody's saying you should do this course. And I'm not over monetizing this. I'm
Hmm.
trying to share and give. That's it. Whatever label, teacher, whatever, I'm influencer. No, I'm just sharing my journey, and I believe that this information. Of course, I only want to pay my bills, and I'm producing my own books. Well, I'm doing it myself, not without an agent or publisher, because I can, because I have this following, and it's okay. I believe that this should be the general education of humans, and I have a way of articulating. I don't know what I'm going to write when I write, but I spend all day writing and posting and all day posting videos. And something, it's like a signature comes in. Oh, okay. It's like, this is what you're going to speak about. I literally sit and I put in the camera and it comes out, done, first take every time. And I'm writing about this now. There's something constantly wanting me to share. So I do it.
Interesting. Do you have a sense of why? I mean, you can't know why what it is you're saying is resonating, but what's going on in the world right now that you were like, you and I were both drawn to this path, and who knows why? Like, there was some calling. And I guess I have an intuition because I know a lot of people who've been drawn to this path, and they're now teaching or sharing, uh, that there must be. Is there something going on in the world right now? Are we? You hear this. We're at the edge of some evolution of consciousness. Like, things are going to change. Like, something's growing, and so certain people have this skill set or this tendency that they're being called to be shepherds or teachers to bring in, what Eckhart Tolle would call the new earth. Do you sense something like that happening, or no?
Well, let's look at what in 25 years we're now in an evolutionary leap with technology since I had a computer and you had a computer and phones
Mm-hmm.
now. So information has been available at our fingertips, and not just information, news source. We don't have to listen to the mainstream propaganda agenda. We can find out our own information. That, for one reason, has blown people's minds and opened them up to expanding their consciousness about medicine, about war, about propaganda. Okay, it's also created an understanding now that there are, as I say, a million gurus out there. I'm doing
Yeah.
my bit. I'm doing my bit. There's Gabby Bernstein, Gabor Mate. Everybody's out there, and everybody's got it at their fingertips. I don't have to pay $400 to go to a shrink every week. I can get as much information about myself and learn, and this has expanded the human consciousness for many, which is a collective consciousness, which means that every time I do the work, I infect and affect the collective. So the collective consciousness is being dragged up and expanded and elevated because that's what's happening. We're also on a human scale. Humanity is an infant. We're a bit of an infant. The fact that what's going on in the world, all the shit is coming to the surface, and we're seeing how infantile and barbaric we still are, and that we have to see. We have to see the darkness of the world. Let's again, I'm who I am. I believe what I believe about 9/11. It woke me up. It woke a lot of people up. COVID woke a lot of people up to many aspects of life, to the deceptions. The world at the moment is also waking people up, being raised but not being of religion into a certain religion. The narratives of the world at the moment have woken me up to the real truth of the story. So on that conscious level, I'm learning and growing and evolving. On the conscious level, I'm learning, growing, and evolving. And
Hmm.
so I now look at how many people I affect and how many people I write to or I work with and write to, who now tell me that they're affecting people. So the more people who take to this work, the more people who wake up, no matter how much darkness is in the world, it always wakes more people up. So, yes, there's darkness in the world, but you and I needed our own darkness to come to the light. That's why we come to the light within ourselves. We come to this work. We become more conscious because we use the darkness, whether it's feeling unworthy, feeling unloved, feeling not good enough. I use my neurosis and my insecurity to find more peace. The world at the moment is seemingly dark, but there's a lot of people waking up to a lot more truths than ever before. So whether it's whoever in history, they always serve to wake people up. And I think we're in this massive awakening of consciousness, of spirituality, of this work never before. Speak to certain people in my family or people I've known who have not been doing what I've been doing for 20 years. And now they are taking to a greater understanding of their psychological issues, their trauma, their wounds, starting to. Why? Because it's a collective elevation. We're about, and now AI is there. I hear that teenagers, it might be good, it might be bad, but teenagers get this beautiful ability now not to, if they don't have the communication they want with their parents or with their friends, they got an AI. They don't have to go and spend money with a therapist. They can actually confide in AI and get some answers. They can
Hmm.
confide in deep, deep, deep stuff they don't want to talk. So people are assisting themselves on every level now, where before I would have to pay money to go and see somebody.
Right.
And the stigma of that doesn't exist so much. As in, you're seeing a psychiatrist or a shrink, or now coach is less stigmatized. But
Yeah.
now people are okay. Hey, I spoke to my therapist the other day. I spoke to my coach. People are now okay about being vulnerable enough and open enough to share that they are seeking help. It's not considered there's something wrong with you. It's considered something very courageous to be vulnerable enough and seek help. So I see that we're in this collective. There's still enough people, excuse me, following the Kardashians and thinking that that's what life is all about, and that's okay. That's another reality.
When did you wake up to 9/11? Were you an early adopter?
Trying to think how early I woke up to it. Pretty much so. Yeah. I uh, I think as soon as it did come out, and it's if you're open to listen, it's like Swiss cheese. There's so many holes in that story.
Yeah.
And the big one for me was the classic footage. And this is when anybody wants to deny it, I go, okay, go look up the BB interview about Building 7. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you. That's
Yeah.
it. That you can't deny that. And I have people stumbling with their trying. You can't deny that. So then there was the movie Architects and Engineers, which came out pretty soon, and that was enough as well. But then there was the wonderful statement that one of the leading army people came out and said that he was given a piece of paper before 9/11 saying they wanted to go to war and take out 7 nations, and
Yeah.
ever since 9/11 those 7 nations have been, oh, okay. I'm a critical thinker, that whether it had anything to do with acting or whether it had something to do with it, I just never trusted from a kid, because I watched my parents watch the news and politicians. I never trusted anything that was coming out of the news and out of politicians' mouths, because my parents used to scream at them saying they were liars.
Really?
Yeah, they would always watch the news, and I remember just sitting there, and they'd always watch the news, and then soon enough after an election, they would scream, "You lied! You promised you would do this, and you're going against it." And so I put two and two together, and I went, "They were all lying. They're always lying." That's what all I got was the news, and the politicians were always lying as a
Interesting.
kid. So for some reason, I did not trust what came out of the media. So 9/11 came out. That took me down the rabbit hole. I was already in the rabbit hole because my mother got cancer when I was younger, 25, and so I immediately, she didn't pass then, but I immediately went into understanding medicine and health, and then realized that there was a hell of a scam going on there, and I was
Hmm.
already in the rabbit hole.
In medicine, your mother got canceled.
No, cancer, sorry.
She got Oh, I'm sorry. Your mother got cancer, and then yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
she got
sure.
cancer, and it was a long time ago, 35 years ago. But I wanted to know about cancer. I wanted to
Mm,
know about health. I wanted to do all I could to help her get better. And I didn't know anything about chemo, radiation, and so I started learning about health and learning about real health, not medicine.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that began that then made me realize. And then I read a book, The Biology of Belief. I don't know if you know
Hmm.
that, by Bruce
Yeah.
Lipton. And that also assisted me in, the doctors wanted me on pills for something my whole life. And then I changed my life, changed my environment, and I cured myself of a genetic disorder that my family had for generations. And the doctor wanted me on pills my whole life. Well, I don't have it anymore. So hold on a minute. So that I was already in the rabbit hole before 9/11 started.
Interesting. It's, I get asked all the time because, I teach psychological and spiritual concepts. Why do I sometimes talk about what's going on in the culture? And I think it's because it's important, because that's where we live in the 3D world. We live in this plane. I'm not somebody who, I'm of this world. What's the saying? I'm,
To be in this world, but not of this world. Yes.
yeah, in this world, but not of this world. But I am in this world, right?
Yes.
This is the video game that I'm in. And I don't want to disassociate from that experience. I want to be in that experience. And, I want to have mindfulness and awareness while I'm going through it. But it's like, I'm gonna do all the things that I'm gonna do. But waking up to the lies that are in the culture, especially recently, as you alluded to, that all the information that's available to us, and at a certain point, it just becomes obvious. Definitely, Building 7. There's no rational explanation for that. And then a lot of people woke up with COVID as well. But it's an important part of the spiritual evolution, because you have to see it forces you to look at the darkness of the world, like to see the lies. And it's not an easy thing to look at. Um, Go ahead.
What comes to me is the greatest analogy of all of this is towards the end of the Wizard of Oz, and they're all waiting to see Oz, and they're terrified, and they've heard about the great Oz, and they're in the room, and there's all the lights, and this is and they're shaking and they're quivering, and little Toto pulls the curtain, and there's the old, for please ignore the old man behind the curtain. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
We're seeing literally the old men behind the curtain, the fools who are trying to scare us with their frightening fear and terror, and that's what it's about. And yes, being in this world, it's a very clever mechanic to get the consciousness in fear, in lower resonating
Yeah.
frequencies, and therefore that spreads. So what's going on is trying to keep people distracted in fear. The more they are, the more malleable they are, the more it's easy to manipulate minds. And this is the great, I suppose it's a divide of two different worlds at the moment, where one world is awakening, the other world is falling into darkness and fear. And there is a tipping point. There is a tipping point. And, this is when people go, I'm worried. Don't worry. It's okay. We have to move through this. The same thing, I was freaking out about COVID and all the authoritarianism. And my girlfriend at the time was very rightful. He said, don't worry, it will all work itself out. And it did. It did. The people came out all over the world on the streets about it, and they stopped. They realized the game was up. They couldn't continue anymore.
Hmm.
And now the game's really up for, the amount of people that have woken up to that despicable farce. And so every time they try something, whoever they are, it is a game of deception. It is a game of trying to shut people into this fear and lower resonating place where they're again easily to manipulate. I'm sure they're going to bring some, after what's happened in the last year and a half. And I heard this from the beginning that, after COVID and that all cleared, they said there'll be these little ups and downs, fear, war, this, fears, storms, something happened, fire. There'll
Yeah.
be all these things that will keep people in this place, and then they'll hit the next big thing. So be prepared that this is the gameplay. What's going on is a chess game, and we don't really know the true truth. It's just that I'm not buying into, even though I'm in this world and I can be exceedingly furious and upset about the despicable nature of what's going on, especially with my tax dollars, and finding out that my whole government is co-opted by another government and by an ideology that I don't agree with. But what is my contribution? That.
Right.
What is my contribution to the collective? I wrote the other day, once upon a time there was a man who spoke of unity, of sovereignty, of love, of compassion and peace, and they nailed his ass to a cross
That's right.
because he was a threat to the powers that be. And I wrote, they don't have enough crosses and they don't have enough nails for the amount of people that are awake at the moment. And that's this courageous, heroic journey to go, no, I'm standing up and coming from unity and love, and I'll do my piece, whether it's my book or my videos or my writing. I'm contributing. I'm tipping the scales.
You believe that the light is going to win, that's what's going on. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there's a spiritual war going on, and that it is fought in the plane of consciousness, really. I mean, there's the 3D story, and we can get involved in that, but it's really the frequency you hold in the absence of fear and holding on to love, that transcends all. That essentially there's nothing that evil can do to you, or they can't manipulate you, they can't control you if you are unwilling to succumb to fear.
Absolutely. If we look back at history, I wrote a really good little fictional book recently called The Magic of the Ethers, and it's a story of fear and love and how fear is used to manipulate the psyche. And it's a gameplay, thousands of years, whether it be killing of Christ, whether it be the assassination of Martin Luther King, whether it be Gandhi, But Gandhi, he through love and peace took his country back. through
Mm-hmm.
how he expressed to his people, no matter how violent they get, the British, you do not fight, you do not resist, because a resistance creates an opposing force. So when we look at little stories of Gandhi tells his people, you stand there in protest. When they come up and they do something, you stand there in peace. And this is what I heard. This is the most beautiful thing. So the Indian people, they stood there, and the British came up and they get their rifles and they'd hit them with the butt of the rifle,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd fall down, and then they'd stand up, blood on their face, and then
Jesus.
they hit them again with the rifles, and they'd fall down and they'd stand up. And the British then got to see themselves in a mirror of the reflection of these peaceful Indians covered in blood. They put their rifles down
Wow.
and they walked away, because if they had fought back, then they had an excuse to kill them and fight
That's
them.
right.
Because they stood there with such peace and composure, the British got to see themselves in the mirror and they got to see their own violence. If they had fought back, they would be defending their lives and call them savages. But in the end, they saw their own savagery. And literally, this happened all over India.
I
One
didn't
is
know that story. That's a great
He won his
story.
country through peaceful protest.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't stop the Vietnam War because we went to protest against war. They went out for peace.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Did you ever
very
see
different.
the Mission, the movie The Mission? It's
Yeah.
got that theme. But I couldn't help it at the end of the movie when the Spanish come to kill all the natives and everybody
Yeah.
at the mission, and Jeremy Irons meets it similar to what you were just talking about, with his arms open, and most of the natives are there with him, and then there's De Niro, the old warrior, who returns to his old ways, and there's a bunch of the native population that are with him, and they're just fighting. They're going down fighting. And when I watched it at the time, I was a young man. I was like, there's no fucking way that I'm not going down without a fucking fight. Fuck
Well,
these guys. And even now, I'm not so sure. Like, I don't know. There's a part of me that's just, I don't know. Maybe I don't. I'm not saying there's a
this
right or wrong, but
this
I,
this this is a form of rebellion and revolution. Jesus was a rebel. He was a total
yeah,
rebel. You know, everybody has this idea of this man. We don't know, but we have a cinematic idea. Number one, he wasn't blonde, blue-eyed. He's a little brown Palestinian Jew, for fuck's sake. So you know, we've got this fabricated artist version, and then Hollywood's version. He was a rebel. Someone came up to him and said, "Listen, hey, I've got to go. My dad's funeral. Let the dead bury the dead. You want to follow me? That's over. We're moving on. Let the
yeah,
dead bury the dead." So, he turned the tables over on the money lenders. He wasn't free of his humanity. He was in this world and not of this world. But when he needed to, it's like people tell me, "David, don't post about this. Don't post about that." I'm like, "Fuck off." I
right,
want to stand and yes, would I go to the extreme of fighting for my beliefs? Yes, right now I have a lot of people out there who don't want to talk to me because I'm standing where I stand on aspects of the world. And I say, I don't care whether you're family or a long-term friend. My morals and my humanity cannot be bought and cannot be
uh
sold.
huh,
And that's the conviction of where I am. And I understand where people are because once upon a time I was stuck in
right,
my indoctrination and my blindness. So it's a, whether it was 9/11, whether it's everything in between 9/11 to COVID to now, and now where we are, it serves to wake people up.
yeah, yeah. What do you? I mean, I've been looking at your posts, and I see some of the things you're sharing about, your take on the world, and we don't necessarily need to get into all of that unless you want to, because I am kind of curious about it. But one thing you said earlier that hits home for me, and you talk about the patriarchy, and we're coming out of some kind of patriarch. What does that mean to you? Because I guess for me, when I think about the problems of the world right now, or at least in the United States, and what's been going on the left with the woke and everything else. For me, that seems like the absence of patriarchy, like that we need men to be more in leadership. That this idea of toxic masculinity or masculine men being toxic, it's created a vacuum, it's created a void, and that men need to be more in their leadership. So when I hear like we have to fight the patriarchy, there's a part of me, I'm not, I want to know what you mean by that, but there's another part of me that's like, no, I'm pro patriarchy. I want more patriarchy.
I don't
You know
want
what I'm
to fight.
saying?
I don't want to fight the patriarchy. I don't, again, labels of toxic masculine, whatever.
Sure.
What we have is a system that has divided the masculine and feminine in each of us,
Mm.
and overtly masculine in, sorry, and we're not balanced within ourselves, and that's due to thousands of years of the repression of, through the patriarchy of the feminine, and then the man having to be a specific character that fits into the patriarchal archetype of a man. And I'm going to put it this way: I was born a little boy. And my little boy, as every little boy, in his authentic nature, he is vulnerable and he is sensitive. And yet he now grows up in a society and a parents and siblings and mother and brother and media that everybody is telling him as a little boy, men do this, men don't do that. Men don't cry, be manly, man up. That's a script that he now has to become something he can't become because he's only a little boy. So now he has to hide his sensitivity, hide his vulnerability, and play. Oh, now I've got to be this. Oh, now I've got to do that. So he's now got to perform to become the man that society, his mother, his brothers, the TV, James Bond, all the heroic figures are portraying this. And he has to either perform to become that ego patriarchal male, which now is right. He's a little boy. He can't be a man. So, number one, there's shame. Number two, if he feels he can't man up, there's shame. So the man is riddled with shame, and he's either wallowing in his shame and he feels not good enough and pathetic, or he now becomes over competitive, full of pride, chasing success, and he's lost that sensitivity and that authenticity and vulnerability. And that sensitivity, authenticity, and vulnerability is actually the bridge of communication between the man and the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman also has her, effects of the cause of the patriarchy, being raised by a woman who has a father who goes off to work. We're supposed to be raised in a tribe, in a village, in a community. And they say it takes a village. All of us raised in a nuclear family. We're void. We're void of all of this attention and validation, acceptance and approval. And everybody works together and looks after each other in a village, in a tribe, in a community. And the nuclear family is a completely fractured dysfunction in comparison. And the patriarchy is a part of that. So it's this journey through, me personally, this journey through how was I affected by my trying to keep up to be a man, the wounding of how that affected me in relationships, in sex, in chasing success, in chasing validation, in trying to prove myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of insidious and subtle at the same time.
Did you ever read that book by Sebastian Unger, Tribe? Do you're aware of that book? Well, it speaks to what you were just saying. He was a war well, it was not exclusively what he did, but he was a war reporter. He was in Afghanistan, and what he noticed is that the soldiers there who'd be over their station for years at a time, they didn't develop PTSD while they were over there, but then they'd come back, and then the symptoms of PTSD would come on, and that didn't make sense to him. And what he realized or surmised was that because they were living in a tribe in Afghanistan, because they were connected, because they were all in that experience together, that that connectivity kept them sane, I guess. But it wasn't until they went back to America and lived in a house on a block in this nuclear family dynamic, and they're separate. That's when the symptoms would come on, and they'd start to feel all of this angst. And so, it was a book essentially about that, living in tribes, and he explored all that, and that essentially that is the conclusion, that that's how we're meant to live. Like that, the way we're living right now,
Yes.
it's alienating, and we're so used to it that we don't even think about it. But in fact, it's the cause or the source of a lot of our maladies.
Yeah, I speak to people every day and I take them through their childhood. And the one thing I get to see and they get to see is the effect of the nuclear family. And they don't realize that, daddy goes off to work. That's it. Daddy goes off to work. Now daddy goes off to work. You're separated from mummy, and you go to not only go to a school. In the school, you are in a classroom full of people your same age, immature peers. That's it. Let's
Right.
go to a village. A village. Mummy, daddy, 8 uncles, 8 aunts, 20 grandparents, 50 children. Everybody's looking after you. Everybody's there. You're never separated. Everyone's supporting you, loving you, validating you. You're always attended to. Never neglected, never abandoned, never screamed at. You don't have to perform because they get frustrated. They get impatient because they're trying to make ends meet in the nuclear family. So there's a huge aspect of what if it takes a village, that means we're void of a village.
Yeah.
And with that PTSD, Gabor Mate said an incredibly interesting study. There was 100 men that came back from war, but only 20% of them had PTSD. And when they did psychotherapy on all of them, they realized that the 20% that had PTSD had childhood trauma. The war didn't give them PTSD.
Uh-huh.
PTSD, the war triggered the trauma from their childhood.
Of
The
course.
80% that didn't have PTSD had a very, very good childhood. So the war just triggered whatever was already in them, which is the basis of the work that I do and the work that I'm working on. That everything that comes up within me is a part of my childhood, literally putting its hand up to be loved, to be seen, to be met, to be heard, which would have been the village that would have done that.
Well, that's exactly why I got into the work, because when I went to, I'd done some therapy and I had some understanding of the what I call the math of the problem. Like, oh, okay, this is what happened to me when I was a kid, and this is how it's playing out in my adult life. But it wasn't until did the work with core energetics, and I started to feel the feelings,
Yes.
like to feel the rage, to feel the pain, how much I was longing for it, how much I got hurt by these things. And I think it's very hard for people to understand exactly how much they got hurt, or maybe how scared they were. And it's a thing that I have to remind my clients of all the time, especially the men. It's like, hey man, you were a little boy. And now I know now you're a grown man and you're strong and you're strapping and you're capable and all of that. But there was a time when you were like 4, 5, 6 years old and you were vulnerable and you were helpless, and it's hard for, and we minimize it, right? Like we tend to minimize. But once you understand it on a visceral level, how deeply impacted we are by our childhoods, by our trauma, whatever you want to call it, and how that creates a whole set of belief systems and defenses, and how that impacts how we orient to the world and the choices we make, and how we show up for ourselves and show up for other people. I mean, you just see it everywhere. And that's what it became for me. I was like on a mission. It's like, people, you're not living in reality if you don't understand what the fuck happened to you as a child and how that's impacting you. Now, unfortunately, the therapeutic space has been co-opted by a lot of, I don't know, incompetent people or bad actors. So now you have this real pushback against therapy, which all they're doing is affirming people's experiences, which they're conditioning them essentially to be victims. So, which is real. I mean, I meet people like this. I see people like this. So it's an interesting. I guess there's a lot out there. I don't know what I'm saying or what the question is, but it's just there's a lot out there. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of conflicting ideas, um, yeah, I guess we're in the middle of it somehow. Does that you think about those things? Does that resonate with you? Are you tuned into that? Or are you just doing your own thing?
Well, I see someone very dear to me and my family, after 40 years of alcohol, has finally said they didn't have anybody to talk to. They didn't have anyone to express their feelings to.
Hmm.
And I said, I know. I was in the same war that you were in. That's why I became angry and violent and took to drugs and drink. And that's why my brother took to alcohol, but he only finally came to suddenly realize I haven't spoken to anyone about it. And it was his time. He might have gone his
Mm-hmm.
whole life not doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
going back to the very beginning and spirituality, I maybe have numerous lives where I didn't do this work and it was calling and I didn't. And I got to a very dark place, however many years ago, where it was either take my life or go deeper into the work. So I did it. I could have taken my life. That could have been next time round, I'll do the same again. So where everybody is their own journey. Whether they take to the work or they realize, as you said, everybody's literally walking around. They haven't got a clue what is driving their lives. So virtually everyone who's overcompensating, trying to become successful, get status, get validation, is because they feel worthless and not good enough within them.
Mm-hmm.
Gabor Mate expressed he became a doctor so he would be wanted and needed and loved. And he realized that after 20 years of being a doctor, that it was all trauma based. And there's nothing wrong with that. I was working as an actor. My mother died after God knows how many years of being an actor. And then all of a sudden I would win. I got an audition. I got no one to call and say, Mum, I got it. Look, Mum, look, look, see, I'm a good boy. That was one of the greatest reasons of giving up. I was like, who the fuck am I doing this for? Wow, I've been doing this to make mummy happy. Look, I'm good. Look, I'm not stupid. Look, I'm smart. Look. So that was a huge thing. Wow. This was an overcompensation for feeling inept within myself. Now I can get the approval and validation from mummy because I'm doing something good. That's external validation. Wow. So that's another thing, is that everybody's out there overcompensating for these hurts and pains of our childhood, and that's what's portrayed in the media, in the TV, in the movies, in the narratives. So it's normality. So that's the mask of this all is normality is operating from wounds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then
Normality,
rationalized.
yeah, it's just normal to go out and be successful. It's normal to have this huge ambition. It's normal to um, to argue in relationships. It's normal to project. There's no such thing as projection. It's just normal. We bicker. That's what love is. It's bickering. It's arguing. No, it's not. It's dysfunctional. So we've normalized the utter dysfunction of the mixture of the nuclear family and the patriarchy and all the wounds and traumas or whatever you want to call it that comes with it. It's so normalized that it's starting to change. And I think when the narratives of movies and TV start to show the new dynamics of whatever we call it, spirituality, or I've written numerous movies, and one is called Love, and it's about a gentleman, like in Good Will Hunting. He goes through therapy, but we get to understand how his mother wound played out in the relationship. So anyone watching the movie is now getting an education not based off fiction and fantasy and happy ever after, but they'll get an understanding of this man going through what was playing out and not being a victim, but actually doing his inner child work in the movie and understanding, oh my God, we're all wounded little children operating under, this is the driving forces, these wounds that we don't want to face. As you said, the feelings we don't want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
So all the feelings we don't want to feel, we do something, we either soothe the feelings, distract, stimulate, and sedate these feelings, or we overcompensate these feelings, but we
Right.
don't face them and feel them.
Did you ever think about leaving LA or California?
After the fires, yes.
Yeah. The recent fires?
My house was close.
Wow.
It was just a stone's throw. My town is we were evacuated for 11 days. I don't know where to go. I love my town. I live in a very good community in Topanga. I'm in the middle of the canyons here. I got peace and quiet and mountains and mountain lions. And we've got some bears here at the moment, which is wonderful.
Bears, really?
Yeah, they got a bear and 3 cubs walking around. So we're really happy about that. And everyone's security cameras are going off and everyone's sharing the videos, which
Wow.
is sweet.
How
And
long have you been
down
in
the road, down
Topanga?
the road is the beach, is Malibu, but I don't want to go in the sea anymore after all the shit fell in the sea.
Right.
But I don't know where to go. Where would I go? I love the maybe somewhere tropical, maybe Costa Rica. But yeah, I kind of I don't know. I feel like the taking the money and running and getting out, but it would be nice to do that maybe with a partner instead of doing this on my own. But why not? I don't know. Right now, I love where I am. My neighborhood. I love my town. The community here is community. It's so beautiful to live in a community. My cafe, my town, my restaurants, everybody knows everyone. It's like going to Cheers all day long. Everywhere you go, everybody knows everyone.
Well, then why would you leave? That sounds amazing.
I know. I don't
You,
want to. I
you've
don't want
been there how long?
8 years in this town.
In
It's,
Topanga.
yeah, in Topanga. It's sweet. It's so sweet.
It is sweet. I've spent a lot of time in Topanga.
Um, So, this is and the conversation here is literally this, other than talking about the rabbit hole and 9/11 and COVID, those things don't exist. No one's talking about what's going on in the news. No one. Everybody's on a conscious level, and all the communications and people that seem to resonate and attract me, or everyone I talk to, my communications are all very elevated and they're all very positive. Yes, the shit's going on in the world, but am I going to be one of those people that's going to go, oh? That's not where I contribute, but that's what's going on.
There's
You
a
know,
longing for a relationship.
did you say a longing for a
Yeah, there's a
relation?
longing. Is there a longing for a relationship? You alluded to that.
This is something that people ask me a lot, and the more work I've done in coming to this beautiful, honestly, amazing place of feeling so full within myself. Yeah, of course, it would be really lovely to be sharing life with someone, but I am not settling um, for the sake of just having someone. And I understand again the dynamics of that. I don't know how much you follow my stuff, but there's a lot of us are driven to find and seek and search and try and get someone from a wounded place.
Hmm.
They'll love me. They'll make me feel validated. Well, understanding the dynamics of love and relationships, it's an education in itself. I meet people all the time, meet women all the time. I'm in a very specific place where I would share on a level where that person has to have got to a place and space where they're going to take full and utter responsibility and accountability of who they are and where they are. And it's a very specific understanding of no projections, please.
Good luck.
And yeah, I get it because the relationship is the highest form of spiritual growth. Anything you think you've worked on, it's going to come out.
Yeah.
It's going to come back to the surface. There's no such thing as fully healed. I I'm open to I'm open to sharing my life, but I'm open to sharing my life at a place where I never ever thought, um, and I never ever thought I would be, and I don't get intoxicated by people anymore. There might be I meet beautiful women all the time, and it doesn't intoxicate. That intoxication is
Yeah.
okay. I can
Yeah.
sense it, but it'd be very easy to. I actually say most of the time people don't fall in love; they fool in love. FOOL. The intoxication is a very is the intoxication is a dynamic and an understanding, and when it's dissected, I think a lot of people they do agree, um, and it's unfortunate because it kind of shatters the happy ever after fiction and fantasy of what we call romance. It's really very much a wounded play. So I'm open to share my life, but I'm really, this is the greatest relationship I've ever had.
Right.
It's astounding. It's really quite wonderful to be this. I don't know what the word is. It's really very, very
I mean,
lovely.
are you at peace?
I would say I'm gonna not say I'm at peace, but I'm a hell of a lot more than I've ever been, and I'm closer to it than I will ever be. That means that I'm well on my way to getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 80% more at peace than I've ever been in my life. Go back to the beginning of our conversation. You were late. You got the time wrong. Da 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 da. The old me would have most probably just gone, just fuck off, man. I've got something to do. How dare you keep me away? I would have. That would have been a projection of me feeling like no one. Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot.
Right.
That was my projection of I'm an idiot. I'm not a. And I sat there and I go, it's okay. Wow, that's peace. When well, this is my expression. When the shit hits the fan and your fan is shit proof, that's it.
Uh-huh.
And this is happening all day long. I notice things that used to set me off for weeks might last a minute.
Well, what happened for me was where I go is I fucked up. I've let him down. And like I'm gonna like I've done something wrong. And what on one level I had because I'd got the time wrong, although but there was like almost a panic that I had to work through. Like I had and then I can feel that what that does is it brings me out of presence, right? Like I can't connect from that place if I'm judging myself for the mistake that I made and worrying about your reaction. And maybe you would have a reaction. Maybe you would be upset. Maybe you would feel slighted in some way because I did waste your time. And so, you know,
You didn't again
well, on
see.
one level I did. On one level I did, but I'm just like from my process, all I'm saying is like, even if you have that reaction, I can still hold on to my like, even though I made a mistake, it's like I don't have to make myself bad. I don't have to go to shame. I don't have to like let some old story come in, and I can still let you have your reaction. And from that place, we can actually stay in connection.
The word mistake in itself is like you did something wrong and bad. All you did was this is what happened. Oh, I got the timing. The time I just mislaid the timing because of this, as you said, the timing. So now
Yeah.
I mislaid the timing, and part of me when I'm sitting here waiting for you also went, okay, David, there could have been an emergency you don't know.
Right.
I have to give that side of it as well. Where if I'm to go around, listen, you fucking asshole, you kept me waiting for half an hour. What about number one? That's my projection of But number two, what if something's happened? Wow. Okay, I have to allow the
Right.
fact that that is a potential possibility that something could have happened where I'm the last thing on his mind,
Right.
and that's where compassion dropped in as well as patience.
Mm-hmm.
So it is. So there there to me everything now has become this beautiful, and it is. It's creating when you say, are you at peace? I've created an incredible conscious awareness where I am perpetually the observer of what's going on and what's coming up. And pretty much that space allows me to go, oh, look, there we go. There's some, there's some impatience there.
Right.
Hey, okay. And as soon as I shine the light of awareness on it, it dissolves because it has
Hmm.
no power. It's so minimal. So the journey to peace is conscious awareness growing, and the old mechanisms start to lose their power until eventually something happens and you just go, oh, didn't affect me.
Right.
I understand in this. I don't know you, and you made an arrangement, and it's okay. I think I had expressed to you that I took today off anyway. I don't know if you remember from the very first thing. Not that it meant,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he's okay. He's took the day off, so it's not really important.
I'm a stickler for time. I don't like to be late. I don't like to be late for everybody. So there's something for me, like I have to work through it.
I, I,
Um,
I
and I
understand that
also, I
because
make the mistake all
I'm
the
a
time
stickler
because
for
of,
time as well. I'm a stickler for time as well, and
yeah,
that I got from my mother because my mother would go insane when people were late. She
right.
would go crazy, and we were always on time. So I became on time, and then I would get crazy about people being late, and then I realized, hold on, look at my mum. She was upset with the whole world because no one was punctual or as punctual as her, and she was miserable all the time. And I started becoming miserable all the time because I became so anal about time. And so I love it when people, oh, sorry, I'm late. It's okay. Eckhart Tolle says, when he says, when people say, sorry, you're late, he says, no, I was just busy being me, sitting in oh, I'm running low on batteries. 1 second.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm running low on battery.
Okay. You got to
Typical.
plug in.
Plug it in. Here you go. So it is. It's everything is an opportunity to go. Okay, what am I being taught here? It is. It's a school. It's this level. It's
Yeah.
this level of going right. Okay, there's a lesson here. He's a teacher. What's this coming up? All right, I'll do some processing on this. Oh, okay. Now I go back to peace.
You still in touch with people from Hollywood, like your agents, your managers? I mean, you're
No,
writing
no, no, no,
scripts.
no, no. I literally speak to one director of a really big movie I do. I check in with him now and then, just an email. But other than that, zilch.
They don't call you up and say, "Hey, there's this part, you'd be perfect for it."
Say that again.
They don't call you up and say, "Hey, there's this part, you'd be perfect for it."
No, no. There's I. It's been 8 years since I worked. There is someone I worked with on an independent movie ages ago, and they said, "Would you work?" I said, "If the part isn't violent, I'd do it." But other than that, no. I'm
Do you miss it?
no. Oh no. I mean, as an actor, it's the most laborious, monotonous thing to say the same line again and
Yeah.
again and again and again and again. But in between action and cut is like walking a tightrope. And when they say cut, checking the gate, moving on, you're like, yes. It was fun being bad, killing people and dying. It was great fun shooting people in the head, explosions, doing as many stuff. It's an amazing, to be on set is an honor.
Yes. That's what I miss more than anything else, is being on the set and the camaraderie and everything's the structure of it. I mean, if people who haven't been on a Hollywood set, like you can't believe how tight it is, how well organized, how good everybody is at their job. I mean, it's like the big leagues, and
It's
it's an incredible
astounding.
thing. And that's what I miss more than anything, is just like walking onto the set, walking onto the soundstage, and just being surrounded by like the best professionals in the world doing what they're doing. And, even if you're working on like something average in Hollywood, it's still like the standard is high. There's still people there that are talented because the competition is so unbelievably stiff. So I miss all of that. I miss the excitement of like, yeah, roll camera and trying to really, get something authentic on tape, and feeling proud about that, and the connection with the other actors and the playfulness. And that's what I miss more than anything else, is the little community that gets created, and all the structure around it. But yeah, I don't miss the industry at all. But it was for me, it was a special time in my life. I thought this was what I was going to be doing for all of my life. And, now that I have some distance, I look back, fondly with a lot of gratitude for all the experiences that I've had. And I'm grateful that I've been able to have a whole other life after it, and that's been interesting too. And I feel like I'm in some way I'm in the middle of it, middle of creating it, and there's more to go. So that feels, because people, they must ask you that all the time, like to switch occupations, careers, focus of your life. At I don't know how old you were, but well into life
Yeah,
is an
absolutely.
unusual thing.
I never even thought of that when it happened. It was just, oh, this is where I'm going now. And I didn't,
Right.
again, like I said, I didn't know it was going to be I was going to finally walk away from it. I think at one point I tried to get back in. I got a representation again, but then the whole hoo ha with injections came in, and
Really?
I said I'm not going to do that. Even if Spielberg comes knocking on the door, I
No
won't
fucking
do
way
that.
am I getting a shot. No
And and
fucking way.
and and the representation I was with that took me on, it was soon after. They weren't very happy. I said, no, forget it. I'm not playing. It's just
Really?
yeah. I said, just don't send me up. If this is the law, I'm not walking away. And they said, really? I said, I'm not. I'm walking. And they said, but you've got a quarter of a century of a career. I said, I'm walking away. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I went back in, and then that happened, and I just said no. And I've got 8 movies written, so that's a point. I'll get to that at some point, and there's some of them are conscious based, but I'm not struggling to get back in. But yes, on
You don't
set,
want to sell your movies?
yeah,
You
I'd
don't?
love them to be made. It's
Yeah.
there's someone just read one of them and thinks it's fantastic. They're reading others, and again, I'm allowing the universe will work its magic. Right now where I am is growing to a place and space of where I am, and I didn't write them for nothing. I believe they're beautiful messages. I've incorporate very cleverly in the storytelling a lot of the understandings, but they're woven into the story without preaching. And we're getting very close where conscious narratives will start to seep into the Hollywood, but that industry is changing rapidly right now.
What I mean, I've sort of lost touch with it, but it seems like with the fires and everything that's going on and the vibe in LA, like so many people wanted to get out, and all of the media that's on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, that they have no they're not the only game in town.
No,
And where they
audience is
used to be,
diluted.
they used to have a monopoly
Yeah, the
on it.
audience is so diluted now. Kids have got this. Why do they need to go and watch TV?
Exactly. Well, I don't watch TV. I don't think
No, I
about
don't
it.
watch. I don't have a TV.
Once in a while,
People come here. They go, "Where's your TV?" I go, "I don't
yeah.
have one." They go, "What do you do?" I write. I paint. I garden. I sit in nature. I go for walks. What do you do? I get it. I get it.
Right. Right. I mean, there's still a lot of talented people there, and I mean, I just watched, what was that? What the hell was this show with Kevin Costner, the Western one? I watched that. That was good.
Right.
There's
Yeah. No,
something, I
I just
mean, sometimes they hook in with something good. There's big budgets and they make it all beautiful. It's nice. And the actors, like some of those actors, they're fun to watch. They're really, really good. And so, which is
there's
different than
there's
a TikTok video.
there's something very special about being completely transported into a narrative in a story. And even though you and I have spent so many years on set, backstage, literally. We know how the dynamics work. When that art is put together with the light, with the set design, with the music score, with the direction, with the acting, when everything's put together, you suspend all belief
Yeah.
and you're in it. And that's the beautiful thing is, wow, I can still, after being part of the industry, still get taken into this fantasy world. And the finished product is so beautiful compared to the
Yeah.
clunky cut. Could you just move that? Yeah, all right. You ready? Yeah. Okay. Give me a second. You ready? Yeah. Rolling. That's so clunky, and then everything's edited and film score, and then you watch it, and people are like, "Wow!" They have no idea.
Hmm.
So,
I
but I don't.
think
Go on.
I was going to say, I think you're right about more conscious, I don't, whatever the word is, movies coming out of Hollywood, because I think I had a friend of mine, he's really still into movies. And I was like, yeah, but it's over. Like what they're making is junk. And he just said, well, the message I want to communicate, like it's going to be best communicated through stories. Like it reaches the most people. And you think about something like The Matrix, like that's a masterpiece, right? And it's all about the things that we're talking about in its own way, and through a very specific story. But it everybody saw it, and so there is something about communicating these concepts directly, as you and I are doing. But then also, what it sounds like you're doing is you're trying to write scripts and build those themes in, because when the message goes out in that way, it can impact a lot more people, and hit them on a different frequency without, like, not even consciously. They don't even have to
Yeah,
know that
it
they're
goes
being.
in on an unconscious level.
Yeah.
I also put storytelling in children's books as well.
Right.
And now with the advent of AI and where we are, a lot of people will be able to produce content independently, far cheaper than
That's right.
relying on the monopolies of the studios. So the world is opening up now, where content can be created and shared very easily. So it's exciting times, and it's also scary times for people in the bigger industry. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're literally quaking in their boots
Well,
because
they
the
should be.
yeah. But I I don't miss exactly what you said. I don't miss the industry. I don't miss, there was something very, again, when it started being send taping, i.e., you don't walk into a room for an audition, everyone's doing
Yeah.
home taping, that did not work with me.
Yeah.
There's something very special with going to a building, seeing some of the usual suspects,
Yeah.
sitting outside a room, waiting for your name to be
We
called.
must have been in the same room at
Yeah,
some point,
yeah, I'm
man.
sure. And then you're getting called in, and I would always sit there, and whenever they come out and call my name, and part of me would go showtime, and I'd snap in, and I walk in that room, no matter who's in
Yeah.
that room, producer, director, casting director, it's you're on,
Yeah.
and it's there's an energetic that you cannot express, that this room can change the trajectory of my career and
That's
life
right.
beyond. And there's then people have no idea how much failure and rejection we get, but that feeling, and then walking out and going, whether I get it or not, I fucking did an amazing
That's right.
audition.
That's right.
that that is you think about how many people experience that in life. It's really a special thing to go in and put yourself on the line.
I loved it. I mean, it was painful at times, and there was lots of humiliation, but overall, I loved it, because it was endless opportunities, and your life could change in a moment. Like, and it did. My life did change many times. Like, I'd just walk in a room and something would happen. There'd be a resonance, and yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The mythology around the magic of Hollywood is real. That's a real thing. And the mythology around the darkness of Hollywood is also real. It's both things. And so, and I, I don't know about you, but I definitely experienced both things. And in a way, I'm glad I did. I got to know it. but I was also glad that I was able to get out of it. Um, Day to day, man, what's a day like for you? I'm
I
just
get up.
curious. You
I get
get
up.
up.
I get up at 4 every morning, and I have a disciplined ritual for a few hours. Whether it's hot tub mantra prayers, yoga, walking on a treadmill, stretching, doing specific exercises. That goes on. Then I'll go to my local coffee shop here and see the locals and have a coffee, and then come home. And I'm posting and writing all day long. I'm working on a new book. I do a couple of sessions of these private sessions that I do every day, and then sometimes I book out and I don't do sessions. I took a month off in June because of my dog passed away, and I wanted to write a book, and I didn't want to take sessions, so I had a month to just write a book and be with myself and sit in the space for the first time in 17 years, not having a dog, which was also very
Wow. Yeah.
very different. I had two dogs. One died a year and a half ago. He died, and so in that 17 years, anyways, I lost everyone in my family and a partner, and so that dog was my emotional support. So when he left, oh, okay, there's no one left. So
That's
this
intense.
but I'm good. I love my garden. I never thought I'd be someone who loved his garden like I do. I enjoy it thoroughly. Again, I write and I post or I paint. I paint the word love. I paint love and I write, and I've got, like I said, I got my movies, but I'm writing another book. But it's really just a point of, or I go into town and I just sit in the local pizzeria, and there's always community, there's always someone to talk to. I go and talk to the people in the stores, and it's community. I just get in the car and drive to
What do you
town.
suspect people think of you? Like, who are you? And like, how do you're that guy in what? A former actor, now spiritual
No, I'm not.
teacher?
So now, this town knows me. Number one, okay. So I paint the. I am an artist, and I paint the word love. Right.
Uh-huh.
So that was the original. So
Ah.
there are hundreds. There's another one, Yellow Love Marine. These are all,
Oh.
these are all paintings, and every single store in Topanga has these on the counter, and they don't have my name. They're not advertised, and everyone knows for 7 years there's about 25 different stickers of my art that everybody knows these stickers. So I'm the love guy. That's one way. That's the one way. That's one way I'm known. I'm the love guy. But now, because of Instagram, it's literally every day now people are recognizing me, and they're saying, "Hey, listen, I've started following you, and I really appreciate you, and thank you so much.
Wow.
You're really assisting me," and it's happening every day. Okay, this is what's happening. It's funny. Once upon a time, I get recognized. This is funny. I would get recognized for being on 24 and NCIS or National Treasure, whatever I play, being the bad guy, and people would scream, "You fucking asshole!" Okay,
Yeah.
this is what people are going to call me because I was a bad guy. And so now it's the antithesis where people are, I love your content. Thank you. You're really helping me. Thank you. Thank you. So it's all right. This is how I'm getting to be known now. And it's the love artist, the love guy. And I've painted a few love murals in the town. And I have this presence in this town where I just give out stickers. The general store, the restaurants, the coffee shops, they all have my stickers, and it's something that I just do. But now, yeah, I think more and more people are getting to know me due to the content I put out there, and the fact that I'm here to assist and see.
Well, you're having an impact. You're having an impact on me, this conversation, and you had an impact on my client, which is why I reached out to you. And it's amazing to talk to you. I love your story. I love the way you express your ideas. I think I don't know, just there's something. I mean, everything you just described. It's the things you say, but I mean, you are an artist, because when I look at your Instagram, I can feel there's some quality. There's something that you're doing. You're not just talking. There's something else going on that's being expressed, whether you're conscious of it or not. But you're letting us into your life. That's what I feel. There's something authentic about like the way that we get let in, and that you're living an authentic life, and there's no apology. There's no explanation. There's no like, it's like, here I am, this is what I think, this is what I'm doing. And yeah, it gives permission, I think, for other people to do the same. Never mind the wisdom that you're expressing. There's just something in how you show up, that I think is impactful. That's how I experience you, anyway. And so, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for tolerating my tardiness. And
No, it's not. Again, it wasn't a toleration. It's so wonderful. Again, when anything arises, to just, you said, "Am I at peace?" Yeah, those things just okay, wonderful. It's just wonderful that
yeah,
everything is there to show me to me. Like, okay, and it's wonderful that you tell me, oh, and that's your shit. My shit, I've deal with it this very quickly. Okay, but I
yeah.
get it. I get it. That's the beauty of all of this. Is, yeah, I've been on this journey. All I wanted to do. I'll end with this. Is I uh, I couldn't be what someone wanted me to be,
Mm.
and I swore that I would become the best man I could be. And due to that beautiful teacher, I am now able to, just by being me, assist an awful lot of people.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, sir.